Next, we will discuss about objects characteristics. What object consists of some characteristics? We will see what are those characteristics briefly. Objects characteristics. So we will discuss about object characteristics. What are the object characteristics we have in our OOPS concepts? So when it comes to OOPS concepts, when you create a object, you will be having state. State is nothing but a object properties. Properties are nothing but the variables you have in your class. For example, we will take our before employee class example. This is our employee class example. So when we discuss about objects characteristics, in this employee object we have state, behavior and identity. Just concentrate on employee class. In employee class we have state, behavior and identity. So what is state and what is behavior and what is identity? We will discuss all those now. When it comes to state, in object oriented programming, state is nothing but a object properties. This is a employee class. A employee class means a employee class which is related to employee object. An employee object consists of some state. State is nothing but a object properties. Object properties are nothing but the variables we have inside our class. All these comes under object properties. My employee class is having employee number, number property, name property, sal property, department property. All these variables comes under state. This state is nothing but a object properties. Next, we will discuss about behavior. What is behavior in our object? Behavior is nothing but the operations which we do on object. For example, we have bank object. Bank object we have business operations like deposit or withdraw, or when it comes to employee will be doing some work in companies. We will think he's a software developer. His work is to develop projects. So whatever the work he is doing, it is a business operation. That is nothing but a behavior. Means in our object, behavior is nothing but it is a operations of object. Operation is nothing but a business operation logic which we write inside a method. That method is called a behavior of our object. For example, we will take a person. Whenever we create a class person is an object. So what is the state of our person object? Person will be having some name and his height and his weight. All those comes under properties, variables of our person class. Those are called as state. When it comes to behavior is nothing but operations of that object. So what this operations, when we discuss about operations, what a person will do, person will sleep, person will walk, person will run, person will eat food and person will do some other works. All those comes under operations of a object. Those operations are nothing but behavior. Whatever the work which is done by object. For example, person we have taken. Person will be having properties. Properties are nothing but name, person name, height, weight. All those comes under properties. Properties are nothing but variables. When it comes to behavior is nothing but operations which is done by that object. We have taken example person object. Person object, what operations he will do? He will sleep, he will walk, he will run, he will eat. All those are operations which is done by person means it is some operation, either it is work or something which is behavioral. That is a characteristics of our object. And we have identity. Identity identity is nothing but identifying the object by its name. For example, we have class employee. To identify this object by using identity. What identity you will find in this? Employee. Employee name itself it is saying this class is to create employee class object. This is about object characteristics in our Java. I will make a note about all this so you will get clear idea. First we have state. State is a it is a it is object properties. Like for example, if we take person object, person will be having name, he will be having height and weight. All these comes under state. Next we have behavior. What is behavior in our object? It is a operations of object, like walking, sleeping, running, eating. All this comes under the work done by that object. Work is nothing but business operations. Whatever the work which is done by object is called operations. Next we have identity. It is identity of object. Like name. If you create class person, that person name is an identity of that object. So these are object characteristics in our Java: state, behavior and identity. Next we will discuss about briefly about this object's characteristics: state, behavior and identity. First we will discuss about state. So state we have discussed the properties which we have in our class are comes under state. Properties are nothing but variables. So whatever the instance variable we have discussed in our variables and types of variables lectures. There I have explained clearly. If you have any doubts, just see those video lectures again. Instance variables value is technically called as an object state. Instance variables are nothing but our object level variables, which are non-static variables. All those comes under object state. And this object state will be changed if instance variable value is changed. For example, I have an instance variable student name, yes name. I have yes name. Yes name I am changing from Hemant to Kumar. I removed Hemant and I have changed to Kumar. Then object state also will be changed because my instance variable value is changed. That's the reason object state is also changed. And a change in a state of an object must be a consequence of messages sent to that object. Whatever the change we have in our object state, it will be consequence of messages sent to that object. That means whenever you are changing some variable value or data, consequently it will send messages to change the state of that object. And if you want to change this instance variable, or we can call this instance variable as non-static variable. If you want to change data or data, we can call it as state. According to our programmatic terminology, we should call it as state. State is nothing but a data which is stored in our variables. So if you want to change the state of class, it means non-static variables must be changed only with setter methods. It should not be changed directly. It should be changed, our variables data should be changed by setter methods only. It should not be changed directly. For example, I have some student, like student course, S course. In S course I'm having Java. I want to change that value from Java to Python. If I want to change that Java to Python, then I have to change it by using only setter methods. I should not change it directly. This is what we have to follow when we are changing or we are modifying the state. I will make a note about this so you will get clarity. Instance variables value is technically called as object state. An object state will be changed if instance variables value is changed. And next, a change in a state of an object must be consequence of messages sent to object. All these points just now we have discussed. It means non-static variables must be changed only using setter methods, but not directly. Only using setter methods, not directly. These are the points we have discussed just now. Next we will discuss about behavior. So what is behavior? We have discussed, right? Behavior is nothing but the business operations which is done by that object. We have seen person. What person will do? He will sleep, he will walk, he will run. Those are the operations which is done by a person. If we take bank as object, what bank will do? Operations: withdraw, deposit, and check balance. All those operations are done by bank. Those operations are called as behavior. And what is identity? Identity is nothing but identifying that object. How you will identify that object? By seeing class name, class bank. Then why we have created that class? To create bank objects. This is how we can work with characteristics. So we will discuss about behavior. Behavior of an object is nothing but the instance method which we have in our class. And the behavior of an object is depends on the messages passed to it. Whatever the message we are passing to that methods, object will depend on that messages. And message is passed to objects through only methods. That's the reason object behavior will be depending on the instance methods. Instance methods are nothing but whatever the methods we are writing in our class. For example, we will take bank as an example. So bank will be having two methods. Methods are nothing but business operations, deposit and withdraw. How bank behavior will be, that bank behavior will be depends on those methods, right? Whatever we are writing, withdraw, deposit. So we are passing messages to that object through a methods. That's the reason object behavior is depends on the instance methods. Whatever the method we are writing, that method logic is nothing but a business logic. To that business logic is nothing but the work done by that object. So object behavior will be depending on the instance methods. I will make a note about all this. Behavior of an object is defined by instance methods. Behavior of an object depends on the messages passed to it. Message is passed to objects through methods. All these points we have just discussed now. So behavior of an object is defined by instance method. What it means? Whatever the methods you are writing. For example, we have a bank class. In that bank class, you will write some withdraw and deposit methods. Whatever the methods you are writing, methods is nothing but a business logic. You are writing inside a method. That object behavior will be changed based on the instance method, right? If you call deposit method with object, then your object behavior will be changed to deposit method. if you call your object with withdraw method, then your object behavior will be changed to withdraw method. That's the reason behavior of an object depends on the messages passed to it, and message is passed to objects through methods. And so an object behavior is depends on the instance methods. This is about behavior characteristics in our object-oriented programming. Next, we will discuss about identity. What is identity? We have discussed already. Identity is nothing but to identify that object. By seeing class name itself, we can tell what that object is doing, why we have created that object, right? So for example, I have a student object. So by seeing that object name, we will identify that class. We have to create class student. Then we have to create instances for that class student to create student objects. And also this identity is a unique property. Unique property means to differentiate from one object to another object, we can differentiate it by using hash code. About hash code we will discuss in our fundamental classes like class and object. There we will discuss briefly. Here I want to tell you that identity is a unique property to differentiate one object from another object. So in our before example, we have created employee class and company class, right? When we execute our company class, then JVM has generated two hash code values. Two employee class objects are created. Have you observed or not? Two employee class objects is having two different hexadecimal hash code. It has generated some example at the rate 1525 some number, and it generated different number for another object. So it has generated different type of hash code for different objects. That is nothing but an identity. I will make a note about this. Identity is a unique property using which one object can be differentiated from other object. Technically, identity is also called as hash code. Hash code is nothing but the generated value by JVM for our object. When you create object, it will generate some number, right? Example at the rate 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 5. And if we create in before example, we have seen it has generated employee objects with two different hash codes. That is to identify one object from another object. This is about identity in our object's characteristics.